This video is going to show you the basics of using your Snuggie Baby Ring Sling. Now your sling is going to come to you as a piece of fabric attached with a couple of rings. Now it's kind of hard to hold a baby in this until we put it all together. So the first thing we're going to do is thread the rings. Now you can do this out in free space, but I like to put it on as I'm threading it. It helps to make sure that I'm not getting anything twisted. So I'm going to start by taking the rings and putting them with the label side up on top of my non-dominant shoulder. I'm then going to reach back and make sure that the fabric is nice and taut across my back, nice and smooth, as I'm grabbing this top rail. So you can see that it's nice and smooth, it's not bunched across my back. And then I'm just going to follow that top rail all the way down to the end of the fabric, and I'm going to gather it up. Now there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do a pleat, which is what I generally do. You can just gather it, just kind of pull it together. The main thing is that you want to be able to fit all of the fabric through the rings. So once you have it gathered up, you just pull the fabric through the rings. I'm kind of pulling it away from my body here so it slides more easily. And then I also want to make sure that the rails of the fabric, or the edges, are at the edges of the rings as well. Now it's really nice in the prestige slings because the edges and the rails are a different color than the main body. So it's real easy to tell where they are in the rings. So once I have it through the top ring, I'm going to gather it again, lift the rings apart, and put the fabric back through the second ring. Again, I'm going to pull the fabric, and I kind of pull out on both rails, kind of at an angle. This is going to help make sure that the rails come to the edge of the rings, which is where I already said they want to be. And then you want to have it going as smoothly as possible. So I'm just kind of pulling to get this as even as possible through the rings. So once you have it on, when you get ready to put the baby in, you want to make sure that it's not too loose. If you have too much fabric, when you have too much fabric and it's too loose, you're going to have to do a lot of adjusting. And this often leads to problems, especially when somebody's new and first learning how to use a sling. So before you ever put the baby in, you want to make sure that there's just enough room for them and not a whole lot more. The more that you adjust, the further the sling's going to come. The sling's going to come down on your body, the sling rings. So a great tip is to start with the rings right on the top of your shoulder, because as you pull down, they're going to fall into the perfect position, which has the label right across the top of your shoulder. This is going to keep the rings in a corsage position, which is going to be nice and comfortable for you. Another thing that you want to do with your positioning of your sling is you want to make sure that the shoulder actually cups your shoulder. It should not be riding up on your neck, because that's going to get really uncomfortable really fast. When you adjust the sling, to get it to move through the fabric most easily, you want to pull down in a down and out motion. If you pull straight out or straight down, it's actually working against the mechanics of the sling, but a down and out at an angle, you can kind of see the angle here, is going to make it slide most easily for you. Couple of other things when it comes to adjusting is that the bottom rail, which is your outside one, should be your outside one as long as it hasn't gotten twisted. Your bottom rail is going to control how high the baby sits, and your top rail is going to control how close they sit to you. It's nice to be able to adjust things individually to get that customized fit. No matter how you got them, if anything's loose, you can just tweak it individually based on what you need. You can also tweak and pull the middle and make sure that's nice and snug and secure as well.